What is up, guys? My name's Jackal, and we have done it. We did it. We beat it, folks. We are done with The Adventure of Link. And, honestly, I have to rebeat a lot of the future Zelda games, obviously, but, man, do I have a soft spot for this game. I know it's always considered the black sheep, but man, I fucking love this game. I really do. This one, I'm not going to say, like, as I beat the Zelda games, one of the things that I want to do, that I plan on doing, is ranking all of them as I play them. And in order to do that, I can't really, because I'm not like an actual game critic, so I don't have enough experience with enough games, especially beating games, because I have a habit of not beating games. There's not like any way that I can critique them and set a standard that I think I could be objective enough on how I grade it. It's just going to be strictly vibes when it comes to these games. And this is one of my favorite Zelda games. I don't know if it's top, out of the 18, I don't know if it's top 5, but it might be like number 6, honestly. Like, I know this game gets shit on, and a lot of people are like, I always like would see comments on any time this game was brought up, and people would be like, you know, playing along with it as somebody would do a Let's Play, and I'd be reading the comments, and some people would be like, man, I can't wait for this game to be over just so I can be done with this shit, just to say that I beat it. It's like, man, I really don't think that it's that much of a slog. I really don't. I think the controls, compared to the first game, for what they are, they handle way better. Because at least in the first game, now it's a very different movement style, I get it. One's like a top-down, like, 2D game. The other one's like a 2D side-scroller game. Like, one's not up top. You know, the other one allows for 4 directional movement. The only other one only allows for 2. But in the first game, Link still, like, it feels clunky. He doesn't feel like he moves well, really, in that game. He doesn't really move that well in that game. I would say he moves for what the game style is and for how you're meant to play and for how it's meant to feel. I would say that this game feels infinitely better to control than the first game does. The dungeons, I think the music is better in this game. It's so, the regular palace theme is so iconic. Every video that I made where that song played a majority in the video, aka any dungeon video that I made, that video got copyright claimed. Now for me, like, that doesn't matter. I don't get monetized for this shit, so what does it matter? But like the fact that like that song will click the copyright system like that song is iconic. And so is the original one, the original Zelda theme. Yes, it is. But it's not as iconic as the palace theme in Zelda 2. Like, it is the Zelda dungeon song. And I love it. I think this game's inclusion of villages makes the world feel a lot better. Instead of, like, the only NPCs you're talking to are, like, random people that you find in caves and shit. This makes the world feel better, feel more alive. And I mean, you know, this is 1986 and like 1986, 1988 or whatever, respectively. Hey. Hopefully that stayed recording. I think it does the whole time, even when my screen goes out. But I really do think that the fact that this game offers that much more than the original as far as like world goes, I think it's better for it. The overworld thing with the monsters, obviously not preferable. Fine for this game. I definitely am glad that like that's not something that's really revisited that much. Yeah, 87. So, you know, I'm glad that wasn't like a thing in the series, but for this, it's fine. Obviously, there is the gripe about anytime you get a game over, it sends you right back to the very beginning of the game. And I get it, but honestly, I don't really think that I honestly don't even really think it's that big of a deal, to be totally honest. Most times, it just doesn't seem like the overworld is small enough that it's not really ever that bad. The only dungeon that I would argue is that's really bad for are the second and third dungeons. Because if I'm thinking of being a new player and I'm thinking of how your ability to play is going to be, having to get through that cave to get to this and the swamp to get to the second dungeon, can be a real pain in the ass. So I can see that for newcomers, that being like a real hard tripping point. So I get it there. And the third dungeon, I don't even know why it's fucking escaping me right now. How you even get to it? Oh yeah, through the fucking yeah. Actually no, you know what? The third dungeon is more just like, it's not even that hard to get to, because by then, I will say this, it's also a pain until you get the hammer at the end of Death Mountain. Between those two. And there's times I've played this game where I have gone straight from the first dungeon to beating Death Mountain. I didn't do that in this game, which Link being stronger, that kind of made it a little easier than some of my other trips. But once you get the hammer, then you can like cut through from the beginning to the third dungeon. So really it's just the second dungeon and Death Mountain. Once you get that, maybe the fourth dungeon. The fourth dungeon, it's not hard. It's just long to get to. That's really the only thing about the fourth dungeon. Because there's not really that many traps. Because you can get through the boulders, get to Eastern Hyrule. The cave to get to the other side of that area isn't that hard to get through. It's like one screen. Then you get to the Maze Island, and there's like 3 things you have to battle out. So, I guess there is like a good third of the game, maybe slightly more, where that is a little bit more annoying. So I get that for newcomers. But I think with proper attention, it really isn't as hard as people think it is. No, I will say I also am a bit biased in that I just got through beating fucking Mega Man for the Game Boy and Mega Man 2 for the NES. So right before this, I was like heavy on some 2D side-scroller shit. So I'm also like built right now to play this game. So that has something to do with it as well. But I think that I do get that people don't like that, especially when it comes to dungeons. But at very least, you know, the saving grace is the Grand Palace. Any game overs you get just bring you to the beginning. And the fact that I beat that I almost beat that dungeon my first time through. I was 2 hits away from beating the Thunderbird. And if I would have been able to take 1 hit from Shadow Link, I would have been fine. I don't know if I would have. I may not have been able to do that. But I almost went through this on my first attempt. And that felt great because that really did feel like putting on a glove. When I looked at the map, though, seeing that there was an area that, like, I know I must have explored at some point. But to see that there was an entire branch of that dungeon that just doesn't take you to where you need to go, ugh. Bro, that would be so fucking depressing. So depressing. Bring you to that dead end for nothing. But no, that last dungeon, because I used to leave the game on that spot, I would just play through that shit over and over and over again. Yeah, now it's going to put me, if I play, it takes you back to the beginning. You have all your spells. You don't have your heart containers, but then you have all of your stats. So this game kind of new game pluses you in a really fun way. because you're full strength and everything. So everything is just super easy. So that would be worth playing for like anybody who wants to just practice. But yeah, no, I remember I used to beat the Shadow Link, and as soon as he would fall off the screen, I'd reset the game, and then it would just be right there back at the beginning of the dungeon, and I would just keep running through it. And I loved doing that. I thought it was fucking great. But yeah, now there's only 2 games, but we're gonna do this and we're gonna make it official here. So hold on. All right. So right now, there's the first title, The Legend of Zelda. And this is just going to be... Well, actually, I'm probably going to have a new phone the next time I play a Zelda game. So I'll have to do this all over again. But we're just going to visualize it anyway. But boom, above it, The Adventure of Link. The Adventure of Link, I would say, better than The Legend of Zelda. Quite easily. Quite easily. I don't even think it's that controversial of a thing to say. It controls better. The world is better. The music is better. That Grand Palace theme easily beats Ganon's theme in the original. And the original, like, that's a cool, like, intense theme. Just dun 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 dun. Like, it's super, like, aggressive and foreboding. Like, not saying it's not. But that Grand Palace, that shit's fucking epic. The ability to use magic, fucking A. And that's something that a lot of Zelda games nowadays don't do so much. I guess kind of like the Sheikah Slate, that's kind of magic, kind of not. It's like technology magic. It serves as magic, kind of. But this game having magic, whereas the first one, like, it had a magic book and a magic wand. But, you know, it didn't have magic. I'm gonna have to check and make sure that this actually does record while the screen turns off, because that would be disappointing if it doesn't. But no, that's gonna be it for today, guys. Well, actually, no, that's not gonna be it for today. I'm gonna be playing games right after this. But yeah, The Adventure of Link, I think, is better than the original. Being able to run through that final dungeon as easily as I did, it felt good. It felt like, man, there's a part of this game that just has not rubbed off, and I'm just as good now as I was then. No, I'm not, but, you know, it makes me feel like it sometimes. So, till next time, guys, with something brand new to hold me over until the next project. Peace.